All right, let's do this one here. Solve the following word problem. Draw a diagram, 3 decimal places. So there's a radar station and it's tracking 2 ships. One is 8 kilometers away, the other is 14 away from this radar station. The station sights them at an angle of 122. How far apart are the ships? So obviously things are just going wonky here because somehow I'm selected a footer. Okay, well, that mess has been cleaned up. So we got a radar station here. I don't know what radar stations look like. So to me, they look like a house. And this radar station is sighting a couple boats. So there's a boat over here. That's a ship. There's a ship for you. And there's another ship somewhere else. Maybe over here. And it sights them a little bit differently. It sights them at, one is at 8. So maybe this one here, I don't know. This is 8 kilometers away, and it sights this one at 14 kilometers. And it says, well, the angle between them, that's what it means here when it says it sights it, the angle between is, was it 122 degrees. Okay? That's my radar station. And it wants to know how far apart are these ships. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label. It's the thing I always do, label. And so I don't know why, but I'm just going to label this as A, which means I'm going to go across here and label that as A. And then I'll label this one as B and go across and label that as B and label capital C and get lowercase c over here. So now I've labeled everything. I need to figure out what do I want to find. And so I want to find, what am I finding? I want to find A. So I'm going to choose the formula that goes with A. Why A? Just so happened that I labeled this A, so therefore I had to label this A, and that's what I need to find. I guess I could have labeled it anything. Okay. So the formula, if it's A, starts with an A, so A squared equals, and then the other ones are just B's and C's. So B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times cos of capital A. Now I do know some things here. What do I know? I know that lowercase b here, just the way I labeled it, that's the 14 one, and lowercase c is the 8, and capital A is 122 degrees. So I can fill this out. I need to solve for A, so I need to get A alone. Luckily it is kind of already alone. All I have to do is square root it. So B is 14 squared plus C, which is 8 squared, minus 2 times 14 times 8 times cos of, what is it, 122 degrees. Okay, so A squared is equal to 14 squared, which is 196, plus 8 squared, which is 64, minus 2 times 14 times 8, or 2 times 8, 16. I still don't know what 16 times 14 is. So 16 times 14. So 24, and then that will be a 6, 6, 1. So that's a 4. That's a 2 and a 2. So 224. And cos of 122. So cos of 122. Okay, so here's 122. Cosine negative 0.530. So I'm just going to go negative 0.53. So times, maybe I should put it in brackets here, negative 0.530, which I don't need to write. Okay, so these ones are alike. So A squared equals, well, that's basically 200 plus 64 is 264, minus 4 is 260. Minus 224, oh, I should multiply that, because these ones need to be multiplied now. So I need to multiply those together. So 224 times 0.53. So I don't need to do the 0 part, but 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 1 is 7, and then 6 again. So 0. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 2 is 12. Another 10 plus the 1 is 11. So I get 11872 with 2 decimal places. So I get that to be 118.72. Okay, so now 260 minus 118. So a squared is equal to, if that was 120, the answer would be 140. But then I'm a little bit more than that. I'm 128. So 141.28. So I mean, I guess we can check that. 260 minus 118. 260 minus 118.72. This doesn't have a decimal, so I'll go .00. So I'll take from that, make it a 5, make this a 10, but then make that a 9, and make this a 10, but make that a 9, and make this a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8, make that a 2, point, make that a 1, make that a 4, make that a 1. 14128. Is that what I said? 14128. Hey, nice. Okay, and I got to get a alone, so I will square root both sides. And I mean, that's kind of it if you don't have a calculator. So your answer is square root of 141.28 kilometers. So that's what your answer is. Now, if you do have a calculator, you can make an approximation. So the square root of 141.28, and then we can root it, 11.866 kilometers. So that's what it would be if you needed, if you had the benefit of a calculator. So I will just zoom out here in case you need to write any of this stuff down. But that looks like that should be it for now.